Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is episode 10. Can't believe I'm on my 10th episode, so never expected to be a YouTuber to make 10 videos. And yeah, so thankful for everyone who follows along on any of the social platforms. So that's Blossom or Patreon or YouTube. That's where I'm most active. And so thank you for all the 240 followers. Can't believe we're sitting at 240 followers on Blossom Social. I think we're getting almost like 10 to 20 um, followers a week, which is amazing. So thank you so much. My goal, as always, is to provide good quality content and good research that hopefully helps you guys make better buying decisions and make you money as well. So yeah. So starting this off is Ticker Tuesday from last week. We did an amazing run with DVLT. So thank you Val for your submission. I think from that buy setup to the max, we were sitting at 162%. Only 934 people watched that Blossom post, and I don't know how many actually watched that YouTube video. I think it was even smaller. So whoever even took a little bit of risk and followed that buy setup, you would have been up insane, and insane fast as well. So it was like within a week. So thank you for that submission. And I also believe they had another submission. So CDT, we'll check it out this week. And we'll also look at the charts. And so this Ticker Tuesday, we had a couple of submissions. Really like the engagement. Thank you for everyone who submitted a ticker, and we'll basically just go through all of them, even though I think only few of them got signals. But since there are so few, I think we can go over all of them. So coming to the charts, from last week we had Adobe, and actually another news that was kind of cool is this past week I spent some time taking my code. So I'm more of a Python coder, and that's how I built my strategy. But I took some of the data output from that and put it in PineScript, which was actually a pain to work with. So either I suck at learning PineScript, or I'm not used to how it works. But anyways, took that data, and these little green triangles is the same output for the buy setups that we're getting from my Python. So that was kind of nice to just see it straight away right on the chart. And our good old, anchored VWAP that we have put here. So based on from the buy setup from last week, we didn't get a good confirmation, and even if you risked a little, I think you wouldn't have even been fulfilled because it didn't cross above that high. And so now we're just sitting in a wait position. It is getting interesting because it is coming back to its previous low, so we can see how it does over time. Will it go lower? It does seem that the stock fundamentally is not doing too well, but yeah, let's see how it does. So right now it's just watch and wait for Adobe. Again, now DVLT, which was the big runner, insane run from this. So you had that buy setup last week, which I mentioned in the video. From the top of that, which is the 5280, to the max was 161%. If you held it, till the end of the week, that's 106%. um yeah, so insane gain from this stock. Nothing more to say about it. Actually, there is one more thing. What was interesting is from the confirmation, I guess, method or strategy that I have, it actually never confirmed. So even though we had this massive run up, um it closed below the top of the anchored VWAP. So to me, this was still not a very good move in terms of actually, I mean, retrospectively, yeah, it's an amazing move, whoever did it. But in terms of the strategy, this is a really small market cap stock. So these are kind of like a shrimp. So shrimps, these types of runs is very common. You get a massive pumps, massive dumps, and that's typically not what we're looking for, right? We're looking for those long runs that have the great momentum and they just keep going higher and higher. That's where we get those 100, 200, 300, 900% runs that I've shown you in my videos. And those are the runs that we're looking for. With these small market cap stocks, it's like in and out really quickly. And if that's the play that you want to do, this is amazing. But in terms of a long run, it's actually not able to hold that. So I'm really curious next week how it's going to do, whether it will actually keep building momentum. Maybe because of the news that's building of how much investment is coming in from other companies or holdings. Or will it retrace back and settle down a bit before it actually builds the real momentum? And the stock is fairly new. This is only Feb 2025 that when it started, so not a lot of I guess history for the stock. And so yeah, I'm curious right now. Based on if I want to stick straight to the data, I wouldn't have entered this position even here. At the $1.38, let's say, even though there is a buy setup because this confidence isn't built up. And yeah, that's more to say for that. So let's just see what happens with DVLT. The next one was IOU, which was a gold. Everyone's been asking about gold, how you know it's had this massive run over the past year, and this is the type of setup that we want, right? So buying, if I can just get this chart to load. So yeah, it's like buying over here, and these are the runs that we want that just keep building up long term, and you're actually buying at a really good time. So buying over here at the all-time high is what I mentioned last week is might be risky because we never know where this will go, and it's only moving purely based on the news. And you're not actually getting any retracement to its previous highs or breaking those previous highs. In terms of the strategy, it's doing quite well. We had 3 buy setups. This was the one that we showed last week, and we were trying to see next week would it close above that, and yes, it did. And I think there was a little bit of a gap up too. So that's also kind of nice when there's these gap ups that's showing me in the direction that we want it to go. That means a lot of buyers are stepping in. And so yeah, this would be a more confident play for me right now at 71.40 for gold. But then I just want you to have in the back of your mind that this is sitting at an all-time high, and we never know where that will go. The next one is RIVN. RIVN, this one I mentioned that you have this wedge pattern. It's making this sideways choppy action. It's getting narrower and narrower. You never know which direction it would go, and I think earnings will be the one that will tell which way this will pop up or down. We are getting good buy setups. It has broken the VWAP, and so has it. Let me just double check. So high, the close was 1559, and actually no, so it didn't break the VWAP, and so I'd stay maybe clear of this and just watch for now. If you want to risk it and just follow the buy setups, then yeah, put a buy setup and gamble and see if this earnings play will work. But from the past, as you can see, you get these lots of buy setups and then a drop, lots of buy setups and then a drop, lots of buy setups and drop. So yeah, doesn't make me too confident in terms of its history, but let's see how this does. SOFI was the last one, and I believe there was no setup, and even though it was at an all-time high, wasn't able to break and close above it, and it's sitting below right now. If you did do that position, you'd be down a couple of percent, but that's more to say about it. I think I mentioned last time as well, I would be buying over here and not over here in terms of the buy setups that even you can see here, right? Now moving on to the public setups. Most of my stocks were quite red. I don't know about you guys. Um, and so maybe there is a shift out of small caps into middle caps or large caps. But I think last week there was a big pump for small caps. So let's see how that goes. So anyways, BWMX, we're still holding this. We have a stop loss at 10% from our entry position. It's the first time that it actually broke below this and getting momentum in the negative side. So let's see how far it retraces. And yeah, we're just sitting and holding this. Neo is one that I really like. Just in terms of the buy setups. I mean, we freaking got a buy setup every week leading up to even this week. That is a lot of buyers coming in. They're still able to hold it down, whoever wants to hold it down. But from that original buy setup, had a nice close above the VWAP, you would have put your buy over here, which would have been a high of 457. From there, it would have been, I believe, a 54% run. Yeah, 54, which is still amazing. And on the top of that, that's a 68% run. Amazing still. We didn't actually enter there. I think we found out this about the stock over here, and so we're sitting at only a 6 to 8%. Yeah, 6 7% return on that for now. But I was really looking at this 771 swing high. Really thought it would have broken it, but it didn't. Came really close, actually 768. And I think that's a major swing high. So it would probably retrace a bit before getting a massive momentum to break that and make it a support. So yeah, I'm just watching that to see if it can break it. But what's giving me confidence is all this buy setup that's building from based on my strategy at least. So that's my code's opinion, I guess. And fundamentally also the stock is doing well. I mean, you have new product lines, you have increased sales, and people were a bit wary about that massive dilution in terms of the equity buildup that they had. I think they raised $1 billion, but I think that's amazing because if you see Tesla as well, they struggled for cash for quite a long time, and so cash is the big name in this game. To make sure that you're able to get to the point where your production capacity is large enough to actually start making revenue that hits the bottom line, regularly. So I think it's a good thing. And let's see how the stock plays. Pretty, I wouldn't say pretty, but I'm quite confident that this stock will do well just based on how much momentum has been built. But you never know. It's a friggin' market. Then the next one was Resolve AI. Again, another amazing stock. We did quite well on this one. This one was a long hold as well, but again, you can see, right? A lot of buy setups all the way. I think this one we started over here. Oops, here. We had no confirmation all the way until this candle, which crossed that view up. I mean, it's pretty clear here. So we did get in over there. And what I liked about this actually, which was, I don't know if I mentioned in the other videos, even though we got a lot of buy setups, you'd buy over here and that's a long time to wait. But if you bought over here, that's a quick gain, sit, buy here and up 125% on the max. Quite amazing. So in this stock right now, we've got a 10% drop this week. I would think that the stock will, come back all the way down to its VWAP, maybe touch that gray line, maybe the green line, before it does its move up again. We are sitting at 10%, I believe, over here, stop loss. And so if it hits that, it hits that. If it doesn't, um, and it retraces and bounces back up, amazing. So that's that stock. And I think open, I just mentioned this stock, but yeah, so this stock again, quite amazing. Lots of buy setups all the way through, and yeah, just sitting pretty on that stock. Finally, now to your Tuesday. So ITW was the first one, and unfortunately, this stock, it's large cap. I think it's like 76 billion, so quite slow moving. You can see it even in the gains, all plus ones or plus fours or plus 5% in terms of the week, right? So that's the whole week, not much movement. Usually with large cap stocks, I'm looking for these massive dumps, and that's where I would be buying. Um, and just because of how the stock is moving, quite choppy. Um, yeah, it doesn't make me too confident, and it doesn't make my code confident too, because I actually don't have any buy signals for this stock. So you know, that's that. Probably just watch it. I actually haven't looked much into the fundamentals of this stock, but yeah, just from a technical point of view, I would buy it more on the massive dips, and see how that works. The next one was a Canadian stock, and actually, this is the first Canadian stock that I was able to transfer my code and actually run it. Because if you guys have been watching my videos, I wasn't able to run Canadian tickers because of the package that I have in terms of the API. And so yeah, this is the first one I was able to actually put my strategy to a Canadian stock, which is amazing because I am from Canada and I would like to buy Canadian stocks more. But yeah, so coming to this stock, I would have bought it here straight up. The run has already happened, and so this is a risky move in my opinion, right? Because so you've got the first peak, which usually happens, and then it retraces down to some level before it tries to see it if it can break that previous high. So I would watch this stock. We do have one buy set up this week. The stock was up 18%. If you want, you could risk it and buy it here. And to me, that's a really high risk because you're sitting pretty high up in terms of the run or in terms of the move. Or you could wait for another candle and see if it breaks that. But again, what I've seen typically with these type of runs, and now this is not always true, but you get these massive run ups. It does its first drop, um, and then it will either try to touch that, and if it cannot, then it comes back all the way down and retraces 86%, or 90%. If it doesn't, the other way that it could do it is, I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, you can change the color here. So the other way that this could do, well, I didn't want to make that green, but anyways, the other way that this could do is it could go up like that, come back down, and then shoot up higher. Um, and you could get a good run there, but then it'll come back down because no stock goes straight up all the time. There has to be some kind of retrace. Um, and so the scary part is my strategy is just picking up a lot of buyer momentum and a lot of volume coming in and a lot of basically, tracking hedge fund movement as well and other things as well, which is proprietary to the code. But hedge funds will sometimes purposely push the stock up so that retailers get stuck. And, the typical saying, you're holding the bag and you're stuck right up here before they give the massive dump. Um, and it's very hard to know. I mean, open was another example where you could see this in perfect action. So, if you are sitting here, right, you get the massive run up, which is that, and then you get the massive dump, and then you're seeing over here, is it breaking? And so that's why obviously you see that red candle, and then you get the massive jump up. So that's that break that they were trying to break. Um, And yeah, you know, the first time we did see the stock, this was already up 600%, and then it dropped all the way down, and then it shot back up to make it. So I can just actually show you that. So from the first original buy setup, that I believe was, yeah, that was a 700, sorry, almost 700% jump, and then it retraces back all the way to a 200%, tries to hit that part, that previous high, and then breaks all the way up to get, I believe that was almost a 1500% run. So in this case, it did work, but if I was like trying to say, let's say I did miss, oops, I don't want to go back to the previous stock, but let's say I did miss that initial run. Sorry guys, computer is having a little bit of a freeze here. Yeah, so let's say I did miss that previous run, and now you are sitting, I would say here in terms of a Almonte or whatever. You're trying to see will it break that, and if it does, then that's when you get that next move up. So that's my suggestion for Almonte. Definitely a good stock in terms of the run up so far, but I wish you would have given the stock over here in 2024 because that would be in a perfect run right there, and you would have got also all my buy setups. But yeah, this one, just trying to be honest, I don't want to pump any stock and I don't want to dump any stock, but that doesn't seem very confident to me, sitting at all-time highs as well. The next one is Baidu, and again, same concept. you know Perfect time to buy would have been right over here, and you can see it. This is the perfect setup. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buy setups, so you had a lot of time to pick this stock up. My first buy setup would have been here from the VWAP. That's probably where I would have entered. The top of this would have been $96, and from there, that would have been from to the top. That would be a 47% run. Again, amazing. So this one, again, I'd wait to see what would happen, if it's gonna break the previous high, and can it retrace then all the way back to wherever it's supposed to go. So yeah, just be cautious on this one. But there is a buy setup, and if you want to risk it, you can put your buy setup at whatever this high was, 141.60. Next one is BTGD. This one, there is no buy setup. There was a couple of buy setups 2 weeks ago, and using the anchored VWAP, I don't think it actually closed above, so that's why you're seeing that drop, because it's not able to build enough volume to push that. So that's BTGD. Next one was VICI. Again, hopefully these are the right stocks. But yeah, VC as well, no buy signals. Just being quite negative right now. Not that wasn't quite a lot. That's only 4% down. But yeah, no buy setups for this stock as of now. CDT. So this is the stock that Val gave us, and it is quite depressed. But let me just try to see if I can get here. Sometimes TradingView can be quite annoying. There we go. So what is interesting with this stock is you did have a massive gap down, and we don't have any buy setups. So this is just purely technical. You had a gap down, massive pump up to fill that gap. Most of the times the price will always try to, uh, it's like a magnet. It'll always come to those gap downs or to those gap ups. And so it came there, filled it, and then now we're just sitting again, -4% day. So I don't see any volume building or setting up in terms of a buy setup. So let's see how this plays. I'll keep my eye on this, and since it's already out on Ticker Tuesday, as soon as I have a buy setup, I'll probably put a post about it. So those are the tickers for this week. And I also put a public post on my Patreon um, for this stock, which is WTTR. We are in this, and what I liked about this is it has a really clean setup. You had your first buy setup, crossed it quite well, crossed it again quite well. And they're big days, so this first day was plus 7%, the next day was 10%, and then the next day was 10%. So I think we're already up maybe 10 to 20% on this stock. I really like this in terms of just the simple strategy of how we're doing, and it's meeting all our setups. So something for you guys to check out, and also join my Patreon, and I'll be posting basically something called Valor Files. I don't know if you guys actually have checked it out, so I'll just try to log in here. But while that's logging in, so takes quite a while, but anyways, I have something called collections, and my idea is to just have these different Valor files, and it's basically a research file, and I'll just keep posting to that. So this is the one where I mentioned WTTR. Obviously it's still I'm in the edit phase because I'm in the back end, but yeah. So that is WTTR. I really like the setup. It's building quite well. The other one that built really well actually, but in terms of news and fundamentals, it isn't doing too well. But in terms of the price movement, it's doing amazing. I'm not sure why it's not getting any news or they're not posting anything, but we had a buy setup 11th of August. it broke it quite well, broke it again, and from that, I guess from the original buy signal, we were already up 34%, and then from the confirmed buy signal, we would be up 30%. So just, yeah. So this one's building nicely. Sorry, the stock's called JAMF. They're basically a stock that does, management and security solutions for Apple devices. And so, yeah, let's see how this stock does in terms of the momentum and the move. It's done so well already. I'm curious to see if it will actually be able to break that 1267 swing high and then retrace all the way to the $16, and then all the way to the $20. So sitting right now at $10, that's 100% gain if we did get in now. Obviously, this was actually a paid buy setup research that I sent out to my sent out to my, I guess, followers who are subscribers, paid subscribers. And so they were able to get into this, and now I'm just showing it because we've crossed, I think, 30%. That's usually our goal. So yeah, interesting stock. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Am I missing something? Because this is done quite well already. But is there gonna be a massive dump like this? So yeah, be curious to hear your thoughts. And that's it for this week's video. So thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you guys next week.